follow-up is a part of your service to your clients. And you can really make life better for them. You've made life better for them with a product. Why not make ordering better and easier with follow-up? Now, the second thing that they're talking about in terms of the recipe for success is the value in two-time buyers. The rule of thumb is that a two-time buyer is twice as likely to buy again as a one-time buyer. Therefore, it is not only easier to sell to repeat customers, but the profit margin is typically higher as well. And not only is the profit margin higher on repeat buyers, but only repeat buyers can become advocates. Now, what's an advocate? Well, a lot of our distributors are walking examples of advocates. Advocates are those wonderful customers who purchase repeatedly and enthusiastically. They spread the word about you, your products, and your company. And in the direct selling industry, an advocate can also be someone who decides to become a distributor in the company. The difference is always follow-up. So you might want to think, okay, you're a unique distributor. How did you become an advocate? A couple of weeks ago, a distributor was talking about her sponsor and what a great sponsor. I think she was talking about Gail Bogdanovich, and this distributor was saying how much excitement Gail brought into the products, and that's part of the reason why. And she saw, and I remember also another episode where a distributor was also talking about Mary Black in the same way. So these great distributors or great sponsors, the one thing in common is that they bring excitement about the products to their clients. Now, the third item is the real cha-ching moment. Now, we all know what that is. That is what many of us kind of work for in direct sales, is the money aspect of it. Direct sellers yearn for the highly anticipated cha-ching moment when they get the first sale and convert prospects into customers. However, the real cha-ching happens once customers make a second purchase. That is very true. By not understanding what acquiring new customers is typically the most expensive task in any business, direct sellers lose sight of the most lucrative profit center in their business, their current customers. Many direct sellers confess that they have piles of sales receipts with the phone numbers and names of previous customers with whom they have never followed up after the first sale was made. Is this true about you? I don't know, but maybe you could answer that question. Far too often, direct sellers fear the follow-up call and may assume that customers will call them, but prospects do not become advocates merely upon trying a product. Triers must first become two-time buyers before there is any hope of them becoming advocates, and one cannot expect customers to initiate the second purchase. In other words, you will benefit when you clearly understand that they are not handed advocates. They must develop advocates. And this cha-ching moment is really about developing your relationships. If you remember a past conference call we had in last October 26th, we talked about the value of follow-up and how 85% of the sale isn't made until after the fourth follow-up. I mean, you'll really begin to understand why it's so important to not just keep contact with them, but to really develop that relationship. Now, the fourth reason is why many direct sellers don't follow up. Now, first-time triers who make large purchases are obviously well on their way to becoming advocates. And one would assume that direct sellers find it easy to follow up with them. That assumption is anything but true. Now, here are the findings where direct sellers share why it is so painfully difficult for them to call even those individuals. And they give 7 examples. 1, they assume that the customer purchased everything they wanted. 2, they fear the customer may want to return something. 3, they do not want to appear greedy by following up too quickly. 4, they assume that the customer just purchased all they can't afford to purchase. 5, they do not know what to say or how to proceed without appearing pushy. 6, they do not want to be viewed as a pest. 7, they do not want to risk losing the customer. Now, these findings are really, when a direct seller feels this way, it's really all about perspective. It's all in the mind, because these are symptoms, in a sense, of negative thinking. Because when you make that phone call to your client, chances are that they're going to appreciate your follow-up a lot more than you think. Now, the repercussions that ensue from little to no follow-up are far more than most direct sellers imagine. They know that their sales performance is dependent upon contacting their customers, but they grossly underestimate how much they could actually earn from that activity. With no marketing knowledge of the hierarchy of a customer, they remain unaware of the impact two-time buyers have on their business, how small purchasers can become frequently purchasing advocates and even recruits. Of course, most salespeople have an idea that they could increase their business if they followed up, but the challenge is that they do not know how to do it, and they do not truly understand why. And I know we've had various telephone conferences about follow-up and its importance, and we think that part of our service as a company is to give you these informations in varying forms. Part of learning is the repetition of information in different ways, and we hope that by doing another episode on follow-up, such as the one we're doing tonight, we're reinforcing the importance of that and on the key strategies that you can do to do your follow-up. And I'll give you some pointers at the end of this telephone conference. Now, many new distributors are challenged about this, and that's the 5th item they talk about in this article. Excuse me. Is that many new distributors are often discouraged. It's called the New Distributor Challenge. A new distributor is often, even with the best of mentoring and teaching, they still have that element of uncertainty, afraid that they might not know everything about the product, afraid that they might be doing things wrong. And that's a challenge for a lot of distributors, and it's a reasonable and normal situation for them. And what happens to a lot of distributors is that, a lot of them, they might not want to initially reach out to their friends, relatives, and even colleagues for fear of alienating them. And the thing is, if a new distributor initially approaches someone they know and that conversation doesn't go very well, they can tend to just kind of throw in the towel. And this is where the mentoring of the sponsor really comes in handy, or this is the most crucial part, is that the reinforcement on the self-esteem and the confidence of new distributors is that even when you hear no, it's just training for you to learn how to deal with it much better. A no isn't a no. It's maybe I need to know more, right? So if a new distributor can get over that challenge, then they can be on their way to becoming very productive businesswomen and men. Now, the last one is the treasure of hidden profits. Now, it says that whether the issue is following up with old friends and family members as a brand new distributor or following up with past customers as a seasoned distributor, a treasure of hidden profits can be uncovered by showing direct sellers more effective telephone skills, what to say, how to say it, and why. And this is where, if you're a new distributor and you're not quite sure and you feel like you've kind of fallen in this category, you don't know what to say, when, where, and so on, go to your sponsor and they will guide you. That's what your sponsor is for. This telephone conference, in a way, does talk about, how you need to establish a relationship with your new customers and old customers. But another underlying subject is the relationship between the new distributor, the new recruit, and their sponsor. So in continuing, direct sellers, indeed, the faster direct sellers become better marketers, the faster they attain a